Hi there. In this tutorial we will start to enter data into SPSS and create variables. The easiest way to do it is to work with a hypothetical questionnaire, and I have one ready for you. This is an extract taken from a questionnaire concerning employment, and the extract consists of 6 questions starting from ethnicity, gender, income, and going to age and tenure with the firm, and finishing with some perceptual questions concerning employees' attitudes to their job. Now, here is an example that has been pre-filled by a other European female who is 27-year-old and has been with the firm for 4 years. And at the bottom you'll see her answers to those statements about the job. Let's take this questionnaire into SPSS and begin to create variables. To create a dataset, I opened a blank SPSS file, and as you can see, the software has opened it for me on variable view, a view that shows names of variables and their properties. This is where you start creating your dataset. I have also opened our questionnaire with the 6 questions we would like to code, and I'm going to start by creating names for those first questions. The first one is relatively straightforward. We have asked, to which of the following racial or ethnic groups do you belong? So let's call this ethnicity. I'm just entering the name of the variable in a column called name. Click on the next variable, and what you see is that the software picked properties of that variable, the default properties of that variable. We'll come back to those properties in a minute to set them properly, but for now let's just continue with other names. Our second variable is, are you male or female? Let's call this gender. Our third variable is, what is your current annual income? Let's call this income. Then we have, what was your age, last birthday? Age. And then we have, how many years have you worked for this firm? Let's call it just years. And then we have 4 statements which measure something on a scale from strongly disagree to strongly agree. And the first of the statement says, I would not leave this firm even if another employer could offer me a little more money. Let's call this commitment. Okay, and the next one, my job is like a hobby to me. This statement measures satisfaction, so let's call it satisfaction. And 1, satisfaction 1. The next one is, most of the time I have to force myself. It's also a measure of satisfaction, but this time it reflects dissatisfaction. But let's call it also satisfaction 2. And then the final one, most days I'm enthusiastic about my work, satisfaction 3. Right, so we have all the names of all our variables. Now we have to add the properties, and let's start with gender. The field that I would recommend you start with is called label, and label is the name of the variable that pops up on all your analysis. And I usually enter here the very question I asked. In this case, we asked, are you male or female? So here is the label for our variable gender. Now, our respondents replied male or female. We could write those words for every person every time they say either male or female. But what we usually do in data entry is we code words or nominal categories as numbers, and to assign numbers to nominal categories, you use this field called values. If you click, I'm just clicking here on the values associated with gender, and I'm going to tell the software that if somebody is male, I'm going to assign value 1 to that response. So 1 for male, add, and if somebody is female, I'm assigning value 2. So every time somebody says that they are male, I'm just going to put 1, and every time they say they are female, I'm going to put 2. Okay. The last thing to do is to tell the software what kind of measure we have, and the second last column enables you to do that. If you click on the cell here, a menu pops out, and you have to tell the software whether your question is measured continuously in an ordinal fashion, or is it nominal. Gender is nominal, so we'll just click that. Right, so maybe let's do ethnicity next. We asked which racial group do you belong to? And the respondents could have said British, other European, Asian, and African. So let's assign value to those categories. We'll say 1 if somebody is British, we will use 2 if somebody is other European, value 3 if somebody is Asian, and 4 if they are African. Add. Okay, the values are popping up here now. Great. Next 3 variables. Let's start by adding labels. We will say what is your income, then what is your age, and then how long have you worked. Right, all 3 variables can be measured from 0 to infinity in case of income. In terms of the measurement properties, they are scaled variables, and we'll just adjust that. Great. Now, the final 4 questions measure attitudes and person perceptions from 1 strongly disagree to 5 strongly agree. Let's start by just entering the labels. So we will say, I would not leave this firm. Then my job is like a hobby. I have to force myself to go to work, and I am enthusiastic about work. Okay, we have the labels. All 4 of them have been measured from 1 strongly disagree to 5 strongly agree. And let's add those values in the values column. I will click commitment and go 1 for strongly disagree, add 2 for disagree, add 3 for undecided, add 4 for agree, and 5 strongly agree. Now, all 5 use the same values. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click that cell to copy those labels and paste them over the remaining cells. I'm just using Ctrl and V to paste. Great. These Statements, strongly disagree, strongly agree, are Likert type scales, and Likert type scales are ordinal. We'll mark them as such. Now you are ready to enter the data. I have clicked on Data View and I'm picking up my first questionnaire, the one we used as an example, to enter the data. This respondent said that they were other European, and if you recall, other European is code 2. They are female, that's also code 2. They have income of £17,500. They are 27 years old, have been with the company for 4 years, and said 2 to the first question, 4 to the second question, 3 and 5. So that's how you enter data in SPSS. Had we had a second questionnaire, we would start entering the data in a second row, and so on and so forth. So that finishes our data entry tutorial. I'll see you shortly. Bye.